So we should be live. Very nice. I'm going to go over to verify now that we are live. So let me find me. Let me find me. That's a good statement. That's very appropriate for the world right now. Is 2021 almost over? Could somebody go find me, please?
No, it's going to get better.
It is? You promise?
Yeah. Yep.
So while I'm looking for myself, we are not live. We are live, but we're not because it's private. I'm going to go change that setting. But while I'm waiting on that to load in the background, I just want to say that I'm super excited today because I'm in my new place, which is kind of a mess behind me. But I've got my two favorite accountability partners with me today, and that is Dr. John and Ellen. And I'm going to let Dr. John do a little intro because he's really good at it, Ellen. You gotta watch this. Watch this.
Good morning, everybody.
See, look at it.
I'm Dr. John, nurse practitioner. See, I can't even start now because you keep talking.
I'm so sorry.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. John, nurse practitioner. And I just wanted to thank Miss Janice Polk from her wonderful new home and for bringing Miss Ellen to Outside the Box 2020 Healthcare Edition. So Janice, thank you so much for having me. And it's just a pleasure to be here and to be meeting with you and your friends and one of your accountability partners to really talk about accountability.
Yes. Yes. And I decided we would talk about that. I'd asked both of you to meet with me today, and I knew we were going to have this group discussion, but I really didn't know what we were going to talk about because, frankly, things have been kind of crazy in the world in general. And then a friend of mine reached out to me the other day and said, hey, tell me about this accountability partner thing, and how did you find your accountability partner? And I thought, I've heard the term for a long time. I think most of us are familiar with it, but I just started having an accountability partner when I met Ellen. What's that been, a year ago now, Ellen? We've been hanging out?
I think it's been about a year. Yep.
Yeah.
It's been great.
It's been amazing. It really has. And, this year has not been the easiest. 2021 specifically has really worked me out. 2020 wasn't nearly as challenging as 2021 has been, but I'm not so sure that I would let me try not to be so dramatic. I feel very dramatic right now. Like I just want to lay on the floor and be like, I'm dead. I'm over here just dead. But without an accountability partner, people around me to keep me moving, I'm not sure that I'd have stayed that way. What do you guys think? Has your you have other accountability partners, not just me. Thank goodness, because I don't know how good an accountability partner I've been lately.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that and step back a minute, when you and I started our accountability partnership, I think one of the things was for us to be committed to meeting once a week, thick or thin, whatever was going on, and showing up to be present, no matter how you were, where you were at, and staying in integrity with that. Because I know, Janice, you and I, sometimes there was a struggle, and I'm like, no, we're not going to take this casually.
Right.
You are a casualty of your casualness. So I think for me, that was, no, it's not. And as you said, but if you want to keep moving forward and pushing through, and if you say, you want to be down on the floor, that's what your accountability partners are for. And I think you have different ones for different needs. But I think yours and I came from not only to move our businesses forward, but then became also personal. But guess what? Life is all of it together. It's the whole ball of wax. You can't really separate. But if there are commitments and goals you want to make, you might want to say I need a accountability partner for working out. That's different. But I think for you and I, it's like the whole ball of wax for business and life, and what we want, or professionally in life, what we want to do. So yeah.
Which we started out professionally. We started out pure professionally.
Yes.
And but then it has kind of morphed into, more. And, this morning I was thinking about what we were going to talk about, the three of us together. And I realized that Dr. John is an accountability partner for me as well. We've never identified it that way. We've never really put a label on it because he's my doctor. So yeah, I mean, he's my doctor. So we have that professional relationship, I guess. I see him as my healthcare advocate, if you will. But I met with him this week. I've been really sick and I've had to meet with him a few times. And I don't know, I just got thinking about it and I thought he really is my accountability partner, because the next time I go see him, he's like, okay, have you done this? Have you done that? And he's very gentle with me, which is a good thing. You have to be, because if you push me too hard, I'll just be like, okay, I'm done. Out. See ya.
Yeah.
It's interesting. If you take a health and wellness perspective of healthcare is more than sick care,
Yes.
then you can, and everybody deserves to be heard. Then you kind of have the opportunity to meet everybody where they're at. And I think that's the nice thing about having accountability partners, especially if they're not exactly like you, because you need to be challenged, you need to be uncomfortable, but you also need a safe zone to be vulnerable. But you have to be like-minded enough to where you can actually be vulnerable, right? And actually kind of give of yourself, because we live in this protective bubble. And I always tease many people around me about the mask that we wear outside of ourselves, especially out in public. And then, you end up holding all these things in. And if you don't have that accountability partner available to you, or partners, I have 4 that range from 84 years old to 33. And I'm in the middle, I'm 51. So that way I have a wide range of perspectives too.
So how did you find your accountability partners? Like I went through a program, a training coaching type program, and in the course of that, the mentor said, okay, here that you need an accountability partner, and that's how Ellen and I connected, and it's been great. It's been absolutely wonderful, and I'm glad that we did. So I know there are a variety of ways to find an accountability partner. I'm curious how you did, John.
So one of my accountability partners was a neighbor who our spiritual beliefs were similar, though our paths were different. And then I just kind of met him where he was at. He was going through a divorce and going through some things, and I was an ear. My other accountability partner I found in a program of recovery. And so, again, we had some similarities, and then we had some wide range of differences. But again, we met each other where we were at. Another one I met at the sports field. Our kids were friends.
Nice.
And so they had a specific need with some, with some experiences. So it just kind of, I don't know, for me and where I am in my life, they were just kind of God things for me. And they were exactly what I needed, but they're all very, very different. What's really interesting is now we're all kind of in the same group. So we're accountability partners together. And so what became my accountability partners, and kind of bringing them together in a small group that focused on really men who wanted to be better men and wanted to be better fathers, wanted to be better partners, became a group of men who wanted to have stronger spiritual connections and stronger faith and the willingness to give back to others. And so it's just kind of folded. So now it's been, gosh, 10 plus years we've been together. And it's just
Wow.
like and it's just like any other relationship though. When we don't nurture it, it's weak. I met with one of them this morning and we talked about relationships and talked about our spiritual relationships, and where if you're not nurturing them, if you're not feeding them, then they weaken. And our bodies, I mean, it's so many things in our life are the same way. So.
Do you have regularly scheduled meetups, conversations with your accountability partners, or is it kind of fluid?
So I think that's a great question. So my mentor, who's 83, 84,
yes,
we try to meet once a month for breakfast or something.
try. Wait a minute. So you try to meet. Now, see, this is me being an accountability partner. So this is something that Ellen and I, let me give credit where credit is due. This is something that Ellen has done a really good job of, is holding me accountable. We don't use words like try. We don't do that.
So,
nope. That indicates that you don't have a regularly scheduled time.
Nope, that doesn't actually. So
well, I'll say we try to.
Sure. So we'll give this one more pass, and I'll finish as I finish, Miss Janish. So we try to, given my profession, I'm available to my patients 24/7.
I know.
So if my patients get in the way of us having breakfast, it gets in the way of us having breakfast, because while my patients shouldn't necessarily come first before me, but what we do is we're flexible. So we try to have breakfast every month. We meet every month. Okay, so we don't try to meet
once a month,
but we meet every month for detail, where we kind of make ourselves vulnerable and talk about everything that's going on. We kind of have an as needed relationship through that, throughout the month. But we make sure that we really kind of have a good accountability session every month. And so the other three, we go through periods of where we'll do morning devotionals for a couple months, and then we'll kind of fall out of that. Life gets in the way. And so those aren't as consistent. Those are kind of more as needed basis. And so that has positives and negatives to it, right? And so I have one accountability partner that I tell everything to.
Nice.
That's not true. I have two. I have a wife. And it's interesting because I'm learning with her that sometimes she's not necessarily pleased that I go to my accountability partner first for certain things. But
having multiple accountability partners is a lot. And and all kidding aside, I was giving you a hard time about the consistency of meeting and that sort of thing, because frankly, there's been a couple of months where we really struggled. Ellen and I meet once a week, and there have been times, and for various reasons, whether it was her or me, it seems like it's usually me, and I'm always a little bit relieved when Ellen says I can't, and I'm like, oh good, wasn't me this time. I mean, it really does. But we do a pretty good job, but we don't
and I think
every time.
Well, we pretty much, I look at it as, if I made a commitment to you, I'm going to show up and I'm going to be there. And so there have been some big life things come up, or work. But for the most part, I think our accountability is based on, I'm showing up every week at that time. I don't care what gets in the way, because I'm committed to our accountability, and it says a lot. I also have another accountability. We meet twice a month at a designated time, and I do not schedule. I don't care what's happening. We meet, and it's, always good stuff comes out of that. So, but I learned about accountability partners way back about 15 years ago when I was in a coaching course. And again, that came up. And so I saw the value in having accountability partners. And even before that, I had never really realized what they were. But being an athlete and doing triathlons and marathons and so forth, boy, you got to show up. If you tell your partner you're there at 5 a.m., come hell or high, you don't just ditch out on them. So that, because we say, oh, I have too much work. This came up, that came up. I have a dedicated time for Janice, and that's it. I was away, we went away, there have been some circumstances, and we shifted when we would meet. If we could meet later in the week or earlier in the week, we would shift it. But yeah, so I find that huge value. And like Dr. John was saying, there are those people that you share everything with, and get real vulnerable. I think for me, the accountability is, where just being who I am and taking off that mask. I mean, I don't step out of here. The more I've got connected this year into my higher self, myself, I've released those social beings. How am I being with this person or around that group or this group? Nah, there's one of me. So I've really gotten vulnerable, and I appreciate Dr. John talking about that, because that's something I think people have a tendency to put that wall. And it actually started when I took improv this year, the beginning of last year. So that got me out of my comfort zone, and then I dropped all those social beings who I was being around. So improv was the best thing for me. But getting back to the accountability, Janice, I see a great value for having different kinds of accountability partners, but I think having one that you can develop that relationship in and keep moving forward, whatever's coming your way, is invaluable. And how you find that person could be like you and I, could be a business partner. I work for a nonprofit, and that nonprofit, I have accountability partner there, the director. I hold her accountable. She needs to be held, she needs to keep moving forward. And I said, let's be accountability partners. And that's been working out great.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful system in general. And I know that it has really been helpful to me in the last year. It's something I'm glad that I've done, and I'm thankful for both of you. And I have my walking buddy too. I see her as an accountability partner, and that's been good too. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to us all making some headway. 2021 is almost over, right? Right?
What? Listen, it's going up from here. Say, I love 2021.
I don't know. I'm in a really complicated relationship with 2021 right now. It's very complicated. I want to see other people.
It's not you, it's me.
No, it's you. It's definitely you. Well, thank you guys.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being my people. I appreciate you so much. And nobody commented anything. We did have a couple of people who watched live. I was able to change the privacy settings, so we did have a couple of people jump in. But I've been so out of pocket, I have messed up my routines, and people don't even know what to expect from me anymore. So I'm working on that. I'm fixing it. Yeah,
So maybe we're getting back.
yeah,
Getting
I'm
back
back,
on track.
We'll
back
meet you
in the
where you're
saddle.
at.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. So many people have met me where I'm at lately, and that's huge. It's just huge. So thank you to both of you for being my accountability partners. I appreciate you. And if you
Thank
don't have an accountability partner, find you one, because they are worth their weight in gold. Definitely. Mine are anyway. Can't have mine. So thanks for stopping in. And
All right.
thanks to both of you. I'll see you both next week.
All
I don't
right.
know if I'll have you both on again or not, but I'll see you both next week. Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.